Hey there. What happens when you perceive that somebody is not seeing you for who you are or hearing what you're saying and not validating you? What is your response to that usually? And I would say, if like you're me, the response is, you're angry, you're pissed off, you are not happy about how you're perceiving the situation in that moment. And I'm going to leave this aside. We're going to come back to that and explore what is really going on when we perceive that others are not seeing us, hearing us, or they're not validating who we are or what we're saying. And I want to ask you another question. Maybe you are a mom or a dad of more than one child. And if you're not, perhaps you yourself, you have more than one sibling. And each child, I would say, is unique. Each child has their own gifts and talents, and each child views things differently and also process things differently for that matter. So, and then if you're in a household of multiple children, you know that a lot of times there are fights happening among your children because they are not seeing things eye to eye. And one is perceiving, oh, he doesn't care about me. And the other one is saying, yeah, he said something very hurtful to me. That means that, again, he doesn't care, or he just thinks about himself, or she thinks about herself, and so on. Right? So it's very common, and it happens probably multiple times throughout the day in a regular household. And as a parent, you probably have to sit down with them and kind of be not siding with anybody, but allowing everyone to see what the other person is feeling and showing them where the perception are, and so that everybody can come to an agreement on whatever it is. And so same thing happens to us as adults. And in this time right now, with everything that's going on, we can see how divisive the society is. We have different points of view. We have different beliefs. We have different perceptions of things altogether. And when we feel like we're not being respected or we can't make our own choices, it's very common for people to get triggered. Or if we see things just in, one way and somebody else is not seeing things that way, it can trigger us. And it happens all the time. And the triggers, then going back to, when we are perceiving that we're not being heard and seen or acknowledged or validated for that matter, then these triggers generate emotions. And what is usually happening the moment you perceive that I'm not being seen or heard is I'm not being, seen for who I am. And it's usually meaning that I do not matter in the eye of the other person. I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. And that's why the other people do not see me or do not acknowledge who I am or do not respect my decisions. And so this is really what's happening. And when we perceive things this way, that we do not matter because we're not enough, because we're not worthy, know that all of these perceptions and beliefs are beliefs of the past. And so automatically we find ourselves reacting, responding in a particular way. We can blame others, we can criticize them, we can judge them, we can, feel like they're imposing on us. And so when we are in that mode of blaming, of criticizing, judging, imposing our own beliefs on others, then we are in a reactive mode, meaning those responses that are habitual to us and that feels normal actually to us are responses that are doing something for us. And a lot of time it's protecting us from the pain of not being heard and seen that goes maybe way back when we were a child, when we did not feel seen or heard. We had a defense mechanism, which is most likely the same way you are responding now when you perceive that others are not validating you or they're not seeing you or hearing you. So know that the automatic responses are responses of the past, most likely, and they're doing something for you. And most of the time, they're protecting you. And who needs protection usually? And if I ask you, or do you need protection as an adult? Or most likely it's the child within you that needs the protection, right? Most likely it's the latter that needs protection. So in the moment that we're reacting because we're perceiving that we're not being seen and heard, we are going back, way back to being a child ourselves. And it's important to recognize that, because if we can recognize that, then we can be compassionate towards how we're feeling in the moment. And instead of blaming or criticizing or passing judgment onto others, which is usually the normal response, we can actually do something differently that will take care of us, take care of perhaps the child that's feeling not seen and heard. And when we can do that, then we start our own healing process. And we do not blame, we do not complain, we do not judge or criticize others, because you know where the blame comes from. My last video talked about this. If you haven't seen it, you can check that out. So instead of giving other people the power for how we feel, we can take back this power and start caring for ourselves to heal that old wound from the past. Perhaps as a child, you were not being seen for who you are, or you didn't feel heard by parents, by teachers, whatever the case may be. And that wound is still present. And today, when you are with others in society and, you know, among other people who have different views, different perspectives, different perceptions, different beliefs, then you feel attacked because it reminds you of your old wounds, of when you were a child and when you were not heard or seen by the people who really mattered to you then. And those wounds are the ones that are getting reopened now when, as an adult, you're with other people who do not see eye to eye with you, or who do not validate your beliefs for that matter. And only when we can see within ourselves what we can heal, then perhaps we can find compassion for ourselves, but also for others, and put ourselves in their shoes and how they may see things differently and how their perspectives may be different from ours, their beliefs also, because we all grow up with a set of beliefs that are influenced by the environment we grew in. And we come from diverse cultures, different countries, different upbringing, and therefore our views, our perspectives, our beliefs are also all different. And only when we can find compassion in a way that we can allow each other to have our own beliefs, our own views, our own responses, and instead of feeling being attacked personally, we can understand that it's each other's perspective, and each one of us have the right to express how we feel. We can share what we believe, what works for us, what matters to us, and others can also do that, and we don't have to go and attack each other for that matter. We may not agree with them, but we can also live in a more coherent world where we can accept the different beliefs and perspectives of others. And I think it's important to teach our children the same thing. When, I have 3 kids, and sometimes definitely there are 2 of them at least that are seeing things differently. And I don't go and side with each one of them as much as I can. And I help them to see the perspective of the other one. Sometimes it works, sometimes they refuse, but all I can do as a parent is try and keep repeating this process over and over again so that, my children also can learn that for themselves, and they can learn how to do that as they grow up. And it's also something that encourages me to look at people from that perspective as well, that we all have our own perceptions and beliefs. And it's okay that we don't agree, that I do not agree with you, but I don't make you wrong. I don't make it like you are the one who is wrong, because I don't know you. And I know your choices, your beliefs are part of who you are, and I respect that. And that's all I can do at the end of the day, is respect each other for who they are and what they believe, and do not make it as something personal. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you for listening, and I wish you well. I'm sending you lots of love wherever you are. Take care. Bye-bye.